All right, West Virginia fans, another day, another camp update, a ton to get to. New additions, Rich Rod's latest comments, NFL preseason, waiver situation. There's a ton of topics to get to. We're going to go through them quickly. If you're a Mountaineer fan, please like and subscribe to the show. We've been going like crazy. With that being said, let's get into the video. So let's start off with the most important topic of the offseason, which is the waiver situation. So on August 1st, the four players, Jeffrey Weimer, Ty Edwards, Justin Harrington, and Jamori Robinson, pushed their chips forward and they filed a lawsuit against the NCAA to try to become eligible for the upcoming season. Today, a new part of the case has been set, which is the date, which is Tuesday, August 19th, which is a little less than 2 weeks away. Now, the first game is August 30th, so you're only going to give yourself about 10 days of practice time if you get approved to get ready for the first game, but we'll take it. August 19th, a big day. Now, it is no slam dunk that these injunctions are going to get passed, but at least we might have some closure on this date or something along those lines. It at least sets the next steps of the process. So if you're a Mountaineer fan, have this date circled on your calendar because it's an important day for these players and it's an important date for our football program. Now, let's get to the next thing. So the next thing is a possible addition to the team. So On3 reported early this week that West Virginia was going to possibly add a new player in Olu Amutasho. I definitely did not say that right, but we'll go with it. Now, this guy brings a lot of experience to the defensive line, and he has good stats. 6.5 sacks in 2022 at Wyoming. Has played in the Pac-12, has played at Oregon State independently, played in the Mountain West, has decent numbers, and has veteran experience. And if you're not going to have Jamori Robinson, hypothetically, this is not a bad piece to add to the defensive line room. He's someone that can get after the quarterback, and he could be a nice player for West Virginia. So I put together a little bit of a highlights of him. It came from his Instagram page, pieced some together just so you guys can kind of see the type of player that we're getting in this guy. Let me start this over. So this is against Stanford, comes off the edge, causes a fumble, comes up the middle, can get after the quarterback and make his presence known. We'll definitely take guys that can rush the quarterback. Even if he's not a starter, a nice rotational piece, it is good. And I know he's expected to make some plays for us if he does come. So we'll definitely take his experience. It couldn't hurt to add another guy to the room. So that's the updated situation with the newest portal addition possibly from Oregon State. All right, let's talk about Coach Rodriguez. So Coach Rodriguez has met with the media over the last 2 days. A lot of different sound bites from his pressers, right? Yesterday's was not so positive. He called the team soft. He said there was way too many moments of softness. He went into a little bit of a rant of distractions off the field, of guys watching SpongeBob and TikTok. And he's given us a lot of entertainment with his pressers. I think he's just trying to send a message to the team. I think he's trying to lay down that standard that's trying to be set this year. He has been saying that portal additions are still on the table. If they think they can add a guy that could help the team, they are going to do it. I think the last day to register at classes at West Virginia is August 26th. Don't quote me, but I think that's when you can add players up until. So I know that's pushing against the season, but if they think they can find a veteran player that can help the team, they're going to do it. Upcoming schedule, full pads Thursday. Quarterbacks will be live for the first time all off season, so that's going to be important. Back to shorts on Friday, and then Saturday they'll have a scrimmage. Scrimmages are extremely important. They usually have refs come in, and it's the closest thing you're going to get to a game. So look for guys to separate themselves there, and that's really where they're going to build trust with players. He also shared a receiver room update. So Rich Rod in the spring did not share much about players, individual players. He wouldn't talk about them much because of the transfer portal and guys leaving, and he wanted to hold on to his players. Well, now that we're here and guys can't transfer, he's starting to share more about individual players. So I want to play this clip from his presser today. about some of the individual players that he talked about in the wide receiver room.
Deep threat, or do you have others that you
we have others. I mean, Jade Bray can run. Justin Smith-Brown can run. Christian Hamilton can run. Logan Ramper's a big physical guy. He's a 215, 220-pound guy. And then Jarrell Williams and Preston Fox has been. I'm glad he came back because he'll play. He'll help us in, both inside and outside, and in the return game. So we got a pretty solid group. And then our slot. This is as good a selection of slots I've had. When you look at Rodney Gallagher and Man Singleton and Gerard Bowie and even Armani Weaver. I mean, they're not big guys. Rodney's got good size, but we got some pretty dynamic slots, I think.
All right, so, good stuff. He said it's as good of a slot room as he's been around. So that's high praise from a coach that's won a lot of games and has seen a lot of good football talent. So that's nice to hear about some of the guys that we have. Again, he mentioned guys, like Logan Ramper, and he mentioned Bowie, and he mentioned Gallagher and Preston Fox coming back, which was nice to see. So he mentioned a bunch of guys there. So look out for those guys, Justin Smith-Brown. Look out for those guys to make plays this year. I think it's nice to hear the coach finally share some information about some individual players. Speaking of players, he keeps saying that 80 players might be the number of guys that play in a game. He wants to set the record this year. In order to do that, they have to trust the guys to be able to make the field. And I think that's going to be a lot of veterans. I think with all the redshirt senior experiences and the upperclassmen that are coming in, they're going to have the edge. And when you have this many newcomers, you're going to rely on guys that have played a lot of football. So I expect a very veteran group for West Virginia this year. The assistant coaches spoke earlier this week too. They were Ryan Garrett, receivers coach, and William Greene, defensive line coach. Ryan Garrett said he could, if he has to play 13 receivers at some point in a game, he will. If you can help them win, they're going to get you on the field. And he also mentioned Jaden Bray, and he's in a strong position heading into the season. Jaden Bray is someone that was at Big 12 Media Days this year and represented West Virginia, so that's a huge sign for him. I know last year he didn't have the season that he wanted to have, but he was riddled by injury. With a fully healthy year and him in this system, I'm looking for a big year of Jaden Bray. And then William Greene talked about Nate Gabriel taking that next step and getting more reps and things like that. And then Hammond Russell, someone they've talked about a bunch this offseason, is into that leadership role. William Greene said when he got the job, the first player he talked to was Hammond Russell. And Hammond Russell's been someone that stayed with the program, so it's nice to see him stick around and get the praise and make some plays for the Mountaineers this season. Let's talk about award watch list. These came out over the last few days. No surprise here, but Jahiem White is a Doak Walker Award watch list, and then the Walter Camp Player of the Year watch list. So high praise for Jahiem. That's no surprise there. We've talked about him a bunch. If you watch this show and you're a Mountaineer fan, you know how good he is. In for a big season. The Blitnikoff Award watch list also came out today, and Cam Vaughn was on that list. And Cam Vaughn's another person we've talked about a lot in this list with his speed and his freshman season he had last year, catching 48 balls from Jack State. Rich Rodriguez also talked about Cam today and said he's still has the best football ahead of him. Let's hear from Rich Rod again on Cam Vaughn.
The guy was a high school quarterback. Cam's an athletic guy, was a high school quarterback. Had a pretty good year for us last year and still hasn't come close to reaching his ceiling. I mean, one of the fastest guys we got. And and he could take hard coaching because I've been on him for a couple of years, but glad he's here. He had a pretty good day today.
All right, so Cam Vaughn, again, I think the coolest thing about him is him being able to take hard coaching. I guess it's not that big of a surprise because if he couldn't, he probably wouldn't have transferred to West Virginia. This guy had offers, and he chose West Virginia instead of those other schools. But look for a big season for both these guys. I think they're going to be your top two biggest playmakers that you're going to have this season: Jahiem White and Cam Vaughn. All right, other news. So NCAA 26 title update. So if you're a gamer like I am, I really only play this game. NCAA football today updated they had a patch, right? And they updated the game. And one of the patches had West Virginia's new helmet in the game. So the gloss is back now. So not only is it in real life, but it's also in the video game. So it does look sharp. I played it earlier. Really cool. So if you're a West Virginia fan and you like video games, go check out the new title update that happened today. West Virginia has the new helmet in the game, and it's a sign that football is back. Let's see what else. NFL preseason. So the preseason starts tomorrow night. So football games are back. I know last week they had the Hall of Fame game, but we're really back for real tomorrow with the full schedule. So here's an update of who's playing where. Now, some of the starters might not play, right? Like Geno Smith, I know he's playing against the Seahawks tomorrow. I don't think that they're going to probably play their starters yet. I mean, they might, maybe, because he's in a new system, but usually the first game of the preseason, you don't see like your starters out there. So keep everything with a grain of salt. But here's the list of guys that are going to be playing in the preseason. So some notable ones, David Sills, Lions and the Falcons game tomorrow. So David Sills has been someone that's been on and off practice squads over the last few years, even saw some time with the Giants and NFL games and things like that, and the Broncos. So it'll be interesting to see if he can make some plays tomorrow night. Bryce Ford Wheaton's on the list, but there's an asterisk next to his name because he's out for the season. Unfortunately for him, had another injury. A ton of guys in the Steelers-Jaguars game. So Wyatt Milam, Beanie Bishop, Zach Frazier, and Doug Nestor. Doug Nestor is the big one for tomorrow because he was on the practice squad last year. He's trying to level up and make that roster. Big one in Dallas, or sorry, I guess in LA, Cowboys, Rams, Will Grier and Tony Fields, two guys that, again, their roster spots are kind of up in the air. So they're both going to try to make some plays and get there. I'm sure everyone's excited to see Garrett Greene play wide receiver and try to make that roster. Dante Stills, Chiefs, Cardinals. Again, not sure with him because he has been getting a lot of playing time over the last few years. So I'm not sure how much he'll play. Fertoma Moba and Garnett Hollis have big games tomorrow for the Saturday for Jets at Packers. So both those guys are kind of on the outside looking in for a roster spot. And then Colton McKivitz Saturday, August 9th. So you see the schedule here. Again, big games for a lot of these guys because they're fringe NFL players and they're going to have a tough time making that roster. But if you have a one or two breakout games, you can definitely get on there. And then, again, some of the guys who have been in the league starting, you probably won't see them in the first game. But be on the lookout for that this weekend. Starts tomorrow. And the last thing we'll talk about on the show is the Big 12 on Peacock. So the Big 12 basketball is heading to Peacock for a few games. So starting fall of 2025, you can stream 20 men's basketball games every season exclusively on Peacock. I'm kind of torn on this. I mean, I'm sure it's good for the league. Brett Yormark is going to do what is necessary to keep us relevant and to keep the money flowing. I don't love it as a fan and a consumer. I'm old school. I like cable. I like having my remote in my hand and searching around for other games and channel surfing. I don't like things on apps. This is one more thing that we're going to have to buy. We already have ESPN Plus. We already have all the other stuff. And now it's one more thing that we're going to have to buy, possibly to watch our Mountaineers. So I get it. It's necessary. It's just not great for a consumer. Other than that, that's all I really have. Like I said, be on the lookout for that waiver situation. I'm going to drop a few videos next week. I'm going to be on vacation. So it's going to look a little different. So I'm not going to probably do too many updates from camp. It'll probably be more of pre-recorded stuff about other topics. So if you see that next week, still watch the videos, but it's going to be a little bit different because I'm heading to Disney World. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Again, if you're a fan of the Mountaineers, please like and subscribe to the show. We appreciate everything you guys do. Have a nice night. Let's go Mountaineers.